Peace, love, and power. I want to get back on where I left off. What was that, early this morning when I went to sleep or whatever, man. And I humbly apologize, as I said earlier. But I went outside. I've been outside and I seen that moon and that star was so beautiful. It gave me a little bit of energy to come back in here and just to read my poems and reiterate on Imani, the last principle of Kwanzaa. Imani is faith. And faith is what we have. And let me start all over. This is Humam Abdulmalik, courageous, generous servant of the sovereign Lord. Again, dealing with Kwanzaa, the principles of Kwanzaa, which is the last day is Imani, faith. And I want to do this: peace, power, and love. And with that, I want to say again, I humbly apologize for what happened early this morning before the sun came up. I don't know, I was like tired, and I know I was reciting a poem, and next thing I know, I was waking up. And it was sort of not embarrassing, because I don't get embarrassed. I mean, whatever happens, and I accept whatever be, because everything happened by divine decree. I might have been astral traveling, didn't even know it or whatever, but I know I woke up. Anyway, I'm going to go in a couple of poems. I'm going to do this real fast because this is the last day of Kwanzaa, the last day of this season. But we know we practice these principles 365 days a year, 366 during a leap year. Every revolution around the sun, we should be practicing one of those principles. Either one, we should be practicing among our people. And be coming out of this this stupor and this social narcotics that got us so high, got us so discombobulated. And that means, man, we don't know if we're going or coming. Because when we're going, we're supposed to be coming. And this social narcotics is injected into our minds when we go to school. That's generation after generation. Just like all these holidays that we be practicing. If we don't look to the other side of what it means, the context of how the Roman Legion, that's what I'll call them, the Roman Legion, because this is based on Roman law, this society, even though it's a corporation of England and a cabal state, being a military entity, DC, the financial entity in London, and the spiritual religious entity in the Vatican in Rome. And so with that, I want to go into this poem real quick and real fast, because I want to get through this, not in a hurry, but I want to get to it. I just wanted to be, I want to complete my task, and my task was to go through the principles of Kwanzaa and also recite poetry, and I didn't do that this morning. And when I went down to the mayor's run for fitness or whatever, the 5K, 3.5 miles, and I was talking on that, but it wasn't like this in the studio. I'm in my studio. This is what I call it until I build it up into a real studio. And then I'll be much better. Well, excuse me, so let me go into this, but it's cool. We just begin with Asa, Aset, and Hiru, because you thought we didn't know, but it's cool. Like the Hashsops, Greeks and Romans, that stole from our schools and burned our libraries to make it look like we were fools. But it's cool. When did we rule? No one. When we ruled, no one had a clue to how and why we built pyramids that were in alignment with the constellation of the stars. And we had pyramids on the moon plus Mars. But it's cool, as we lost our rule in Kemet and we still had Timbuktu, Mela and Dungo, empires and federations, all were Nubian nations. But it's cool. Then the Moors gave Spain civilization because they were in the Dark Ages and was a nation. Wasn't no nation, but it's cool. Then El Cid and the Knight Templars of Solomon got together and said, let's rid Spain of the Moors, but we will keep what they did and give it to the Vatican and tell the Pope to keep it hid. But it's cool. And after the Inquisitions, the Jews and the Pope got together and said, let's go on a Christian mission and save the black heathens who are cursed. But it's cool. What made it worse, the Jews said, let's sell them. They have no soul. And the Pope gave the decree that they will no longer be free. But it's cool. So they went in Akaboo land with the Bible in one hand and said, here is the white man. He's your savior who died for your sins. As he spoke, he had a hyena's grin. As he gave them rum and gin, then when the madness began, but it's cool. He took the Bible back and pulled the gun and ransacked the village, killed the warriors and the priests and other villagers that was on the run. Asked, when would this madness cease? But it's cool. Your Savior, we call Jesus, the name of this boat that will take you to a new season and take all your reasons for being. But it was cool. As Jesus left dock, they treated us like we were livestock, chained to each other, no matter the pain brought. But it was cool. Our captors laughed at us and said, look at that fool. As one by one, some would jump into the pool of the Atlantic Ocean with the belief they could reach the shores of home once again. But it's cool. And on Jesus, they could hear the crack of the whip and the moaning cries of those that stayed alive from the fierce attack of the soulless men who raped men, women, and child, and even killed the fetus of pregnant mothers by stomping it to death after cutting it from the stomach of the mother. That's how vile they were. But it's cool. On board Jesus, Saul, and Matthew, the two names of the ship, we couldn't even communicate, but knew that we had to in order to survive in this perilous ride. But it's cool. The drum, yes, the drum was the universal language among all tongues of Akaboo land. So as the soulless men looked and laughed as the priests beat the wood as though it was a drum, and the warriors did their war dance and dance of death, as though they wasn't anything left but freedom or the last breath. But it's cool. As Saul burned one of the ships to the ocean floor, and Matthew headed back to Akaboo land shore. But Jesus got away. The soulless men were scared to death of the fierce attack of the so-called slave, and astounded and dumbfounded as the last warrior stood them there before them, so brave as he said, I am the last of the mystic priests and griot. This story must be told. As he unfolds some dust from his hand, and as they rush him in a cloud of smoke, he was gone. But it's cool. As Jesus passed other ships with human cargo stocked upon each other like animals, as they shopped at and stopped at dock after dock, Haiti, West Indies, the coast of South America, where the host was treated with the most inhumane, insane, degrading action you could name. But it's cool. Culture, language, spirituality, forcibly taken away by torture, rape, castration, mutilation, and replaced with religion and a white god. But it's cool. Orientation on the slave plantation of breeding and breaking. This undertaking went on until Emancipation Proclamation of this beloved Christian nation. But it's cool. Freedom is supposed to be free. Then they started to lynch us because they didn't give us the 40 acres and the mule. But it's cool. And add fuel to the fire. It was their God in which we trust, and still they did whatever they desired, according to the law that was conspired to be only applied to them. But again, they lied. Natural law is universal, but it's cool. Their law was made to be broke, changed, rearranged, applied, and denied, because they hide behind their Constitution, which was supposed to be to protect all men. Oh, I forgot, 3/5 of the human being law that's still on the book, but it's cool. They even had the black law, the voters registration law. All the while the Ku Klux Klan didn't have a flaw in their night raids and their parades and sheets. But it's cool. Even in segregation, because they wanted to alienate their white race from the black face, so we built townships with a sound economical base. But what they did, They did not do but drop a bomb on the place, but it's cool. It was a law against us to learn to read separate but equal. Then according to their law, but it's cool. Oh, don't forget the Dred Scott law. The black man has no right that the white man has to respect, but it's cool. Then they allow integration to have better relations. But it was all a manipulation, because then some went through emulation of the white man, like the boule, the talent, the tip, and all those who sold their soul and was under robot control. But it's cool. Not only the fact is we become indoctrinated, educated fool to be fooled in his pool of deception and hypocrisy in this so-called democracy. But it's cool as another skull and bone member is selected to carry the emblem of the Masonic Illuminati, seal of their approval, and policy made to enslave another 3/5 of the world population. The polytricksters are politically correct because you can detect the falsehood in their speeches of deception. But it's cool as another law is passed to keep the Federal Reserve and the international bankers to be in another country's financial matters, as they steal all their natural resources and of course, the Internal Revenue Service exploit us domestically, so we can't see behind the veil of hypocrisy. But it's cool. We are going to do as they plot and plan to annihilate all nature and man. We must stand up as the original man and turn up the frequencies, vibrations, and energy, so that we can see with the third eye the celestial, universal, divine arsenal that would be used like the force of the black that will only affect those with no soul. But it's cool. It's so cool that we gonna be all right. We're gonna be all right in this political climate that's right now going on. We got this the guy President Trump. No, it's Trump, right. But they playing a political game, and like he like the Trump card, and the Trump card is like a spade. And for being so rude and for being kind of hyper, because I'm so glad to be back before you, this audience of Sister Karen, she's one of my schoolmates from elementary, junior high. But see, they passed me through junior high with all F's and put me out in Worcester. I think Karen went to either Cardozo or Roosevelt. I'm not sure, but that's my sister. Peace, power, and love. We go way back. And my big baby brother, I see he back on there. And who is that? Hatin Il Foley. Nice having y'all on there, and the other peoples that I don't see y'all name. It's a great day. It ain't no new year. It's just a repeat of the earth going around the sun for another 365 days or 366 days. Ain't nothing new about this. It's just a reoccurrence. It's a natural process that happens every 365 days. But see, to the Roman solar calendar, that's how they got it. They want to clock time. You can't clock time. They trying to do that and have been doing that, and they got us caught up in this paradigm of what they do, because we caught up in the social narcotics, which is white supremacy and institutionalized racism. You get this social narcotics by going to their school. And their curriculum is so foreign to our nature and to our true divine nature. And we learn Eurocentric everything, nothing about ourselves. See, his lies cover our story, and our story become a mystery to us. But the real mystery is everything that they got and doing in their colleges and all that. It comes from us, because the Hyksos and the Greeks and the Romans went into ancient Kemet, where the libraries was, and stole and flagranized everything. And then they even probably went into Timbuktu, another big old university in Nubia, the interior of Akabu land, so-called Africa. And Kemet was ancient Egypt. That's what they call Egypt today, back then, ancient time. I'm talking about 50,000 years ago, 60,000, say 60,017 or 65,017. I'm talking about back then. See, they want to keep us confined in 2016, right? Because if they keep us confined in that timeline, then they can talk about the captivity that we've been in and talk about slavery and all that. But it wasn't slavery. How can you enslave a free man? We're naturally free. But if we accept what they do and let them validate us, then we'll be that. We cannot let them validate us, not in this day and time. And we have to do that in order to the next generation of our children, the young seeds, the next generation of leaders, so they can come up being captivated, motivated, and know who they are. They got to know that we are the original people, because if they listen to his lies, which is his story, not our story, because our story is the real his story, not his story, because his story consists of his lies. He stole everything he got. It's over under the Vatican, a lot of information, a lot of gold and information that they took from here. They took all the gold from here in about, 1932? That's why this money, this paper money, is just a promissory note, a fiat money. And we got to know all this. And we got to start loving one another. We got to change our language, change our mind. We change our mind first, because that's where it begins in the thoughts. The thoughts, we gather the thoughts and think about what we're going to do. Then the materialization of it comes out in action through our hands, and first through our mouth to communicate it. And then it's manifested. Just like Martin Luther King. He said he had a dream, but his dream wasn't manifested into the reality of our system. Because 50 years ago, 48, 47, 48 or whatever, the same thing that he was talking about, him and Malcolm were talking about, still apply today. Education, homelessness, jobs and all that. So the trickery of these people, the people that's in control got 20-year plans. Like all this gentrification, it ain't the first time that it happened. We was in Georgetown, they took that over. Now they're trying to do that in Ward 8 and everywhere in the city, but it's nationwide. I don't know if it got to be an international plan, because it's an international pandemic. And so-called Illuminati, what they say, is real. And they are international because they're the international bankers. They're the Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve is a corporation of the Rothschilds, the Mellons, the DuPonts, it's 13 families. And in the Vatican, they got the Black Jesuit, not the Black Jesuit, not the Pope in the white, but you got to watch that Pope in the black, because he in control of the CIA, NSA, M5, and all them. And they the assassins that are around the world that are not part of the political makeup of each country that they come from. They're private businessmen or corporations. Everything is a corporation. Then they got Cabal states. Look it up. CABAL. DC is the militaristic of that entity. Rome is the financial, economical entity of that. And the Vatican is the religion. And we got to know that. There's so much we got to learn. Because if we don't, we won't cross our T's and dot our I's. And that's what we got to do. Got to cross your T's and dot your I's. Then perhaps you'll realize all the historical lies that they have. Close your eyes to the true reality. What they have lied, and also the reason that so many of us had to die. It all started black in the ancient future before they had the ability to shoot you. The wholesale mass slaughter, genocide of our people in its beginning. The Pangerian age with its mystical page and sage is the first of the missing page. Because you see, we existed way back then when there was nothing like murder or sin. Back then, there was just one continent. And spiritually, it's how our time was spent. And everybody was God sent. If you don't know what that meant, all you have to do is look at the hieroglyphics. on the walls of Kemet. Because way back then we knew the circumference of the world from end to end was 24,955,000 miles, and understood what was beyond the clouds, as we named the stars long before we had mental and bodily scars. You see, mathematics, science, and medicine were all our creations of ours. It's the secret they don't want spoken in front of large crowds. And no matter how loud they get with their distortion and dealing with them, you must use all precautions, because it was the Hysox, Jews, Greeks, and the Romans that started our fall. One after another, they stole, plagiarized everything off the walls of Kemet in order to formulate their laws in what they call the Bible. But we can't calculate 3,000 years before they penetrated our land, and all that information was in our hands, without the distortions, without the lies. So if you cross your T's for truth and dot your I's for information, then you would understand that the Nubian Kemetic clan were the first nation among all man. And if the seed of the Nephilim still exists, they have to be in our midst. If the Anunnaki come from far away star and return at the end of 2012, how in the hell can you believe anything else that they tell you? Excuse my cuss, and I apologize. Here's my final clue to the black, Christian, Muslim, or Jew. Why are they always trying to deculturalize you? So you won't know who you are and where you come from. Know that your body is your temple for life that God gave you after He breathed the breath of life in you, so that you can represent Him in all that you do. And if you believe in the God that's in you, then you become an ambassador of the people with self-motivation, high self-esteem, in order to help the youth and elders live out their dreams. And we got to do that. I got to re-emphasize that the youth are our future. The elders are the one with the knowledge and the wisdom. We got to protect them. We got to try to purify our temples holistically. We got to reach out young brothers that's selling drugs, using drugs, even alcohol, all that stuff. We got to purify ourselves. The body is the temple. We can't be caught up on pleasure principles, immediate gratification syndrome and all that. We got to let that go and purify our temples. We got to heal. See, all that stuff is in our community by design. All the guns that's in our community, all the drugs that's in our community is by design. They started off way back. First, the CIA put acid in our community. Then the marijuana. Then after that, when in the 60s with the Black Panthers and the movement and all that, when we was really unifying about a revolutionary ideology, they put heroin in our community. J. Edgar Hoover did that with the FBI, a corporation. It ain't no government entity, no federal government and all that. It's a private corporation. Then after that, the next powerful drug came in our community was all the chemicals. Angel dust, killer weed, love boat and all that. Then after that one, the worst, I ain't gonna say it the worst, but it was the worst at that time, was the cocaine. Then they cooked it up and called it crack. And that was a nationwide epidemic. That's when a lot of killings was happening across the country. There's a lot of killings now, but it didn't compare to the early 80s, late 70s and early 80s, almost up to the 90s. Because I remember the community where I lived, even though I was in college, where I got my PhD in streetology. But I started college at South SWU. But then I went to another college. So at that time, it was like 300, 400 murders, man. It's like 100 a day is a way, is a lot. But back then, it was much, much more. And that's when the youth got involved, because the older guys put the youth out front and was telling them to take care of that and do this and do that, because they couldn't give them no time, a lot of time. They allowed them to let them come right back out. They do that today. A lot of these guys that's killing people, they go in and come out. We got to reach those brothers, man, and make them understand that when you kill somebody, you killing yourself. Because you kill somebody, their son got a son or a daughter, and that affects them like domino. Then you go to jail. Then who gonna deal with your son and daughter? Then you're gonna be mad at the sister because she gotta survive. We gotta understand this game being played against us. They dumbing down our children, trying to. Not all our children is being dumbed down but everything starts in the house with the parents. I gotta slow down. I think I'm going too fast, and I humbly apologize. Let me breathe. I apologize. I felt myself just going too fast. I was going too fast for myself because when I'm talking to you, I'm talking to myself. So I'm going to slow down. So what I was saying is that we got to stop this selling the drugs and the killing each other. It's because it's like a domino effect that affect us. We got to stop like using drugs and selling drugs and killing each other, man. And got to realize that it's a part of their plan to annihilate us for population control, to get our melanin, get our body parts. See, that they control the media and all that. They don't tell you like it's 800,000 missing men, women, and children. And they want your melanin. They want our melanin because theirs is petrified or whatever. It's not fluid like ours. And a lot of times ours not fluid because all them chemtrails that you see them airplanes putting that smoke that come out their tail, and they be in lines. That's chemicals, and it'll affect us. And the food, the GMO, the food that ain't got no seeds in it, all this processed food, all this water with fluoride in it. We got to drink alkaline water. We got to do that to purify our temple, keep our temple pure, so that the energy of the Creator can flow through it like an energy, like a current, because we're electrical bio beings. It's the electrical impulse that the energy, like the energy in this light, is a source of that. And you cut on the switch and that energy come in the light and keep that light shining or whatever. It's the same thing. The light of the sun, the energy of the sun, the energy of the universe, the energy of the grass, the flowers, like these plants you have in your house, they help you breathe. The trees that they be cutting down, all that is part of nature, and we got to understand that we are part of nature, and we gotta develop ourselves under a divine plan according to the information that our ancestors left us. And one of the main things that they left us, they told us when they go in the halls of study, over each door of the halls of study, it says to know thyself. And once you know thyself, you know that who you are and what you are. You know that you're the original aborigine, the indigenous of this country. Every country on the planet Earth, we was there first. We was there first, and everybody come from us. And that European Neanderthal primate genome person, kind of man or whatever. And see, I ain't no racist. I am a race man, but I gotta speak the truth. These people have been attacking us since we came in contact with them. They are the people that had the most wars on the planet Earth. Everywhere they go, they dropping bombs, they raping people, they killing people, they taking the money from like the Federal Reserve, international bankers, putting the countries in debt, like in Akabuland, Africa. They did it all through there, and it's like Haiti. Haiti beat the English and the French, but look how Haiti always got to go through all this turmoil. And I don't know if you know or not, they got a apparatus called HOP, and what HOP does, it controls some of the weather frequencies and cause earthquakes and what they call that other thing, tsunamis, cause tsunamis, earthquakes, hurricanes, and all that. They can do that because it's the technology. All you got to do is have a certain level of heat or whatever in the clouds and move the clouds around. They can do that, just like they have frequency and vibrations and energy that affect us through music. The type of frequency in the music can affect you. And the subliminal suggestions that they on TV that shoot past and you can't see it. Your conscious mind, your conscious eyes can't see it, but subconscious you pick it up. And it's stored in your subconscious, then it come up. And you might be like just driving, then you say, oh man, I gotta go get a Big Mac. All the commercials you see led you to that. And that's the reality. We got to study. Because everything I'm saying, don't just take it for word. Look it up. You got to Google. Just say, if I say, like I said, Cabal States, look up what the word Cabal means. C-A-B-A-L. Look it up. Then you'll have an understanding. Because it's about understanding the inner verse. Because everything is within us. It's prescripted from the Creator to affect the universe. See, these people, they in control of the universe because they control the media, they control the food, they control the money, they control all that. So this is the universe that they're in control of. But the universe, they're not in control of that. Once we come off that social narcotics and these veils are lifted off our eyes and our minds and stuff, and like, this is the age of Aquarius, and we got to get into the natural zodiac and all that. We got to get into everything that we deal with. Like today, I was out there helping my son do something, and I happened to look up to the moon. It was so bright, but it was like a quarter moon, and that star, I don't know if it was a North Star or whatever, but it looked so beautiful. It's energy coming from that. The moon's affect the tidal, the water. And what are we? We about what, 90-something% water? So it should have an effect on us if it got an effect on all that water out there. So with that, let me go into another poem. And I hope I slowed down, but see, I be taking some minerals now and stuff like that, and that got me kind of hyped. And let me share something with y'all. See, I took my Kalima Shahada in 1981, Muslim all the way up to this time, right? To this present moment. But 2 years ago, I don't know if you know about the chakra centers. Most of y'all might know that about that, because y'all conscious. But that happened. And the Kundalini, I don't know if it came up or it came down, but I felt something and it came into me. So everything about me was enhanced. The perception of things and the knowledge I already had, and it was enhanced. It was like by divine decree or just a natural occurrence. Because I don't practice no yoga, I don't meditate or none of that, but I'm very insightful. Since 12, I was in the Black Man Volunteer Army of Liberation at 12. Last Force used to come up where we used to hang up, St. Stephen Church. The Black Panthers used to come up there, and all that. So all this information is in me. So the information that's in me, it got to come out. The information is pertinent to us and our survival as a people. Because it's got to be that I'm promoting love, peace, and understanding. I'm promoting that we heal. I'm promoting that we love one another. I'm promoting that we be peaceful among each other. I'm promoting that we unify, organize, and develop infrastructure in this structure that we live. We got to understand that it's your united snakes of hypocrisy. Politics is politricks. They always got 20-year plans. Example of that is they always got a vote on us having a vote. How's that democracy? How is that the popular vote that we just voted didn't get the person who got all the majority of the popular votes? But the electoral college voted. Internal vote, along with the popular vote, voted a person that got less popular vote. That was just like the year Bush and what's his name, Gore ran. What these things be really is coup d'etat, because this is what happened in another country. The media would have blew that up. Oh man, there's a coup d'etat and this and that. But the structure of this is with them. See, what the Confederates and the Union do is cool, because they all in cahoots together, you know. And we got to know that. We got to know that, and we got to listen to the drums, because I hear the drums, and I hear what they be saying. As you beat those drums that away, keep on running, slave. That's what I hear the drummer be beating. Keep on running, slave. But I'm not a slave. Just got to take time out to pray and hear what the Creator has to say. As they try to slay another one of my days. But I won't let nobody faze me, because you see, I'm not crazy or just some lazy nigga. And even though I'm trying to get paid, I won't let you control me, because you see, I'm mentally free. And I see with the spiritual eye of the divine. And I don't have no reason to be lying, Because my thoughts be flying in celestial realms with universal ideas of truth, justice, and freedom, which they be trying to deny us because of their fears. But it's behind our tears and suffering of all the years, the racism and bigotry and anything else you want to do to us. You talk about in God we trust. And you see, I can't let you thrust no nail in my hand. And you be a member of the Ku Klux Klan. And I look up in the sky and I say, oh, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. I will be just lying and a hypocrite too, because you have left clue after clue to what you would do and who you have done it to. Trickery, demonic deception, plus divide and conquer is how you hide behind your democracy called politics, fixed and put in place since day one of your theft, plagiarism of the hieroglyphics off the walls of Kemet. That's why I don't mimic you, because I know the limits to you, and why you eat animals, because you once was a cannibal. You see, I'm waiting for the Anunnaki to return to see what else I can learn this universal turn, because I still be hearing what they be saying as they beat the drums. Keep on running, slave. It's your own mental grade that pays your way in this life. But I'm not a slave. I'm the son of the first woman that makes me the first man. Just got to take time out to pray and hear what the Creator has to say. Amen. I hear the drums. I hear the drums, and I hear what they be saying. It be saying that we in this day and time, in this political climate, we got to come together. We got to heal. Excuse me 1 second. Okay. Let me see. I had that on repeat. I apologize again. So we can keep going with the flow. That rhythm and sound is leaps and bounds, and allow me to be more in tune with myself, in tune with the energy of y'all, the synergy, the frequency and vibrations that we give off to each other in our connection to each other. And that's what we gotta believe in, all the doctrines that we as a people on this planet Earth that's been taken and hidden from us. But any of that information that comes to us, esoteric and arcane or whatever, and they say voodoo or whatever they took from us, we got to adhere to that knowledge, that information. Us as melanated people, so-called black people, African American and Africa, see, all that information that was stolen from us, they use it and turn it against us. They go into their secret societies, the Scottish rites, the other rites, the Masonic thing, the skulls and bones, and all these bloodline families. They use all our secrets against us and call it evil. It's not evil. It's only evil when they use it, the way they use it. So that's why I say we got to be in tune with nature. We got to go within. We got to understand the inner verse that's written in our DNA. And we got power centers, the chakras, 7 chakras to the crown chakra and the kundalini, the energy come in, divine energy. We got to get in tune with that divine energy, because we're a divine people. I don't care what religion you practice, because like I said, I took my Kalima Shahada in 81. And 2 years ago, my third eye opened. And that same year, I got saved and baptized. Talked to a brother, he told me this is how you do the Hebrew thing. But all that is like this. And it's from this, a social narcotic called white supremacy. Institutionalized racism that we gotta do like this and do like this and create strength and power. That's what we need. We need to unify, organize, and develop an infrastructure. I don't care what you're practicing. You can practice it. You and whoever the leaders, you can be the leaders. But stop the ego tripping and the arrogance and the self-centeredness and all that. And just come to the table. Come to the table of life. Come to the table of survival. Because this man, he said a lot of things. And he's going to be the president. of this United Snakes of America, man. He gonna have his hand on a button that can annihilate us. He gonna have a cabinet of European Neanderthal primate genome that are we know known races. The whole cabinet, and even a brother that's in there, he Nicaraguan. He's under this drug of this social narcotics to a certain extent that he don't have our best interests at heart. He don't even deal with his nature. He going against his own nature. So that's why we got to come out this paradigm and get in tune with nature, get in tune with each other and deal with each other on divine laws, not man-made laws. Because if we dealing with divine laws, our laws surpass man-made laws. Because we won't be in no criminal activity. So they can't mess with it. The slave catchers, so-called police, the slave catchers, according to the 13th Amendment. That's the only way that you can be a slave or indentured servant. They say the 13th Amendment frees you. In the game they played, they turned it on the backside and say if you're convicted of a crime, duly convicted of a crime, then your incarceration makes you a slave. So why do you think they got prison for profit now? Why do you think that Federal Bureau of Prison is on the Dow Jones stock market? Why do you know or you don't know that we was on a stock market from the auction block? But it don't stop because they dumbing down our children. Our schools are becoming to the pipeline of prison. And the prisons are for profit. And that's all in the line, right? The music industry is involved because the frequency they use, it deals with our mental apparatus, especially if we ain't aware or conscious. If we in the stupor of that social narcotics, white supremacy, and we selling our soul, becoming Europeans, walking around with our eyes wide shut, and don't believe nothing that conscious brothers, black brothers, revolutionary brothers, spiritual brothers say. Farrakhan, Reverend Wilson, Reverend White, Jeremiah Wright. You know, we got to believe in these people because they're in the position of leaders. Umar Johnson, Professor Griff, young brother Pharaoh, the other brother Seti. All these people are in positions of leadership because they're very knowledgeable. But again, we got to do this. We got to unify. The ego is your worst enemy. See, we can be our worst enemy with that ego, that self-centered, that arrogance, and all that. Then we can't even deal with our natural enemy because we dealing with a Willie Lynch syndrome. That's another narcotic that they be selling us with that social narcotics of white supremacy and institutionalized racism. See, the dude Willie Lynch, it said he had the breaking method. You know, he broke people. He broke us. It's like in America we go through a manufacturing of being stamped made in America, and all that is dealing with our mind and our psyche. Then they give us all these drugs for the immediate pleasure, immediate gratification, the breaking down of the family and all that. We got to come from under that. And the only way we do that is by purifying this temple. We got to purify our temple. We got to love one another. We got to read. We got to understand. We got to be entrepreneurs. We got to have communal living. We got to do this thing, man. Because we under attack. You know, they killing us. They killing us through the food. You seen how the police was killing us. What you see is a lull in that now. You don't see much of it now. There's a reason for that. Because however it started, somebody called somebody or push a button. I don't know if them police Manchurian candidates or whatever, but there was too many of them doing it around the country. Every day, or every other day, or every 3 days, or every 4 days, or every week. Somebody was getting killed. Then there was a couple of lynchings in there. Then there's a couple of our women going to jail and winding up dead. It ain't by chance. It ain't by coincidence. It's by design. It's about depopulation. They want all women to abort them fetuses. And then it said that the umbilical cord that they get, you cut it off, they take that and use it in their blood rites and blood sacrifices. This is what we're dealing with. Those people and those Europeans that's in leadership, they're demonic. I'm talking about in the Vatican and all that. They be doing so much stuff that it's really crazy. It's insane. That's why a lot of us are kind of our equilibrium is kind of off balance. Because when we adhere to this madness, we become mad. When we get caught up in their fads and trends, then we commit ultimate sins. See, but we got to be scientists, priests, kings. Because as the melanin is secreted to the pituitary and pineal glands, we will once again stand and become real African men and women. The third eye will open as the divine nature had always planned. As we will stand as scientists, priests, kings, and queens, Nubian Pharaoh from the Upper Nile. Now we will go through trials and tribulation of this chaotic and confused nation without hesitation, with libation to our ancestors and purity of thought, with the essence of truth being sought. I move forward with clarity as my subconscious and conscious mind merge, and I'm led by divine light with axioms as my insight. I'm led by divine axioms as my insight, and that's universal truth. And if you measure the contrast of the matrix between you and I, you will understand why I'm willing to live and die for the love of supreme of my realities and dreams blend. As I now can ascend or descend in any realm, being a scientist, priest, king, queen, the Nubian Pharaoh from the Upper Nile, if we were to look into others' eyes, they will become mesmerized only to realize for themselves that we were kings and queens of past and ancient future times. We must overcome the stagnation of this indoctrination of this forbidden nation, plus the escalation of falsehood that prevails here, and understand that the end is growing near, but the righteous has nothing to fear. And we must continue to hold our youth and elders dear, that the griot and the seer will always be here to give us the truth, our story, a past glory, and sure real knowledge, and the legacy that was stolen from Egyptology and replaced with Greek mythology. And I understand and demand that the lies cease, and the truth increase in being told by all people who have turned to being cold and selling their soul for materialistic gain. To forget what's at stake will be sealing our own fate. And it's never too late to understand that ignorance is no excuse for stupidity. You got to be genuine in order to keep up with those who be lying, even about the homeless dying in the wintertime. It's a crime when it be happening all the time, winter after winter, like a habitual sinner, giving $36 billion yearly to those who stole the country. I'm talking about them Yahudis, them so-called Jews. As my third eye never blinks, I always stop to think, morally like a priest, knowledgeable like a scientist, humbly and humanely and caring like a king, a Nubian Pharaoh. And it's not about me, but our entire earthly clan, eventually taking a moral stand against the enemy of man. And if you don't know who the enemy of man, then you surely under robot control. You surely walking around with your eyes shut, or you really then sold your soul and become a Negro pen. If you don't know that the people that run this system is your natural enemy, that these people rape, castrated, mutilated, burn you, lynch and drop bombs on you. And then here go a thing in the modern days, they had the nerve to call you a refugee. Citizens of this country, a natural occurrence occurred. They didn't want to come and help you and all that. When you cried out for help, they talking about them refugees. And it was us. down there in New Orleans, in the New Orleans state, where all that water was, people on the roof and all that, they had the nerve to call us refugees. And this is the last day of Kwanzaa, the principle of Imani, faith. And the first principle was emoja, unity. Second was kukachakalia, self-determination. Ujamaa was the third, collective work and responsibility. Ujamaa, cooperative economics. Nia, purpose. Kuumba, creativity. And we apply all them things and we build a nation. We institutionalize our learning. We should start doing homeschooling or African-centric schooling and come out this paradigm of Eurocentric education and learning. Because it's not to our benefit, not for our spiritual benefit. And far as spirituality and religion go, if it ain't about unification, coming together, I don't care what you're in. I don't care if you're in the nation. I don't care if you're in the Christian community. I don't care if you're Jehovah's Witness, Seventh-day Adventist. I don't care if you're Catholic. I don't care if you're Jew. But if you're melanated, that means only one, for unity. You practice your own way of how you deal with your creator, but it's only one energy, one creative energy, one intelligent energy, whatever you want to call it, Allah, Jah, and all that, but it's only one. And then it's being used. Every religion is being used as a divide and conquer methodology. And if you don't know that, then you got to become conscious. Because I've been Muslim since 81, right? And I've been around Christians, right? I've been around everything that's on this planet Earth, really. Because I'm every man, you know, from Timbuktu to ancient Kemet to the streets of Washington, New York, Leavenworth, Petersburg. I'm every man because I got that insight. Well taught, well learned, self-taught, not indoctrinated. I ain't get my knowledge out of school. I started reading at a young age the Cat in the Hat books and the World Book of Encyclopedias. And my father put all the historical figures on the wall from the front door all the way to the dining room. I was in the Black Man Volunteer Army of Liberation. And I knew something was wrong when I used to go in every church, Catholic church, Baptist church, or whatever. And I seen this European with this long dog-looking hair and with blue eyes. But one time I was in church and the preacher was talking about Jesus coming back, had hair wool. I had a big old bush, look woolly, with that lamb hair look like. He said feet of bronze, and that's what this is, look like. And I'm looking at this, and this is coming out the Bible. This is the word of their so-called God. And then they got that picture over there. See, that was the injection of this social narcotics. That was the injection of it. Because see, what it did, it promoted white supremacy and our inferiority complex. Because if you're looking at somebody and they say that's God or the Son of God, you know, because they used to say that all the time. They used to say Son of God, then they say Jesus and say God and all that, a lot of confusion. But it was cool. But when they do that and you look at yourself, that man don't look like me. That man got all, he all this, he the Son of God, he God. What am I? Then they depict the devil as what? Always red or dark or something in black outfit or whatever. So that's part of the social narcotics or institutionalized racism and white supremacy. So we got to overcome that. And we can't let people validate us. Because see, I never was a slave or a nigger. I'm the substance of life without a price. Because I'm free and cannot be sold or bought. I don't care what your children are taught. In life, I'm a spiritual warrior, an African ninja. And I don't care if I offend you. Because I'm here to bend the lie back into truth. No longer will truth and falsehood be strangely mixed. I see your tricks and lies, manipulation because of your melanin frustrations. Because you be chasing my dreams, builders of pyramids and great civilization. and ultimate in race relations. So therefore, I was never a slave nor a nigger. You see, I have faith in God and don't have to see him to believe in him. So therefore, I can't develop a God complex and take everything out of context, like marriages of the same sex. No reproduction. So what's the function? The maker of man-made laws gone mad, like Nero, your hero, playing his violin as the world burns out of control. But those in control have no soul and no passion for the masses. But you can't control me, because I'm mentally free. And I never was a slave nor a nigger. You will never be able to figure me out, because I am the mystery of ancient and future times. In the long line of masterminds and griots, the keepers of our story. So in this so-called post-racial era, it becomes clear that everything is out of control, as the people with soul are sold a new culture identity without indemnity. And as you become your own enemy, once again, as the system that hasn't changed has you believing social equality has been attained. Just because of the fame of one African king in a society of Europeans who surrounds him, do you think they treat him like the next of kin, or he's really their friend? Just look at the Republicans and how they vote. My third eye is open. I see clearly. It's merely hypocrisy being paraded as democracy for the Republican in which it stands. Oh, say, can't you see? It's all connected to the sinking of the Lusitania, to the present-day chaos by the Iranians. Man-made pandemics without limits, standing on the verge of total economical plan collapse. And this don't have anything to do with the Zodiac. It goes a long way back to the Knight Templars of Solomon, who became the learned elders of Zion, lying in wait to implement the next phase of the plan. As they have commercialized the revolutionary slogan, power to the people. And the people don't know what they be buying, because the IRS and the Federal Reserve and the international bankers all be lying. The final sign of the New World Order being put in place. But you see, I was never a slave or a nigger. And I figure one aim, one purpose, and one goal for those with melanin in their soul. And the Creator plans unfold. And I say that wholeheartedly, man, because I don't care what nobody say, because nobody can validate me. It's this common natural sense. The definition of nigger, the derogatory term that was stated and maybe created back then when we was in captivity, was lazy and shiftless. Now you tell me, in your common sense, in your natural sense, how could we be lazy and shiftless? We got up every morning by force, got beat with a bullwhip from sun up to sundown, and was working that whole time. We might have snuck off for a little few minutes, but we got back. But the people on the porch, what were they doing? They were sitting on their butt. They was being lazy, shiftless. So who would that definition fit? Not the niggas, not the kings and the queens, the niggas tea, but the nigga, them Europeans you see. And that's who they are. So don't tell me that you don't use the N-word. I'm a niggas. I'm a king. They the nigga, because the definition said lazy and shiftless. While my people, my ancestors, they worked in the field. I feel the pain of the whip on their back. I feel the pain when they tried to communicate in their tongues and got their tongue cut out. I feel the pain when they got 100 lashes for speaking in their native tongue. I feel the pain when they raped my mothers and sisters and cousins and aunts. I feel the pain when a brother marry a sister, but then the European, demonic European, come in there and cohabitate with his wife before he touch her, and he don't do nothing to kill this nigga. I feel that pain, and I ain't gonna never forgive nor forget, and I ain't gonna turn the other cheek, But I ain't gonna be violent. I'm gonna be rational. I'm not gonna be emotional. Because the emotional one he used to call boy. I know him, and I know the beast in his nature. So in knowing the beast in his nature, I know how to deal with him. See, the libations of the raindrops, they're going to be my retributions. Sanctified retribution. See, the Creator is one day going to give me the way, the answer in my development, in my growth and development as a energetic, spiritual, that energy of the Creator in me, that spiritual energy in me, I'm trying to develop it and purify my temple so that the Creator would bless me to be his agent here in this plane. And going to give me the insight and the purpose and the direction that the ancestors going to open up to me in my universe. And I'm going to break the curse, and we're going to break the curse of this social narcotics. See, they think they want to talk about taking America back to when it was great, when they was hanging and lynching us and the black laws and the Jim Crow laws and all that. Man, y'all can do what y'all want to do. See, we're going to step back, observe. We're going to observe, and we're going to watch and wait. Whatever their plan is, let them put it in effect. We will defend ourselves against the drones, against the satellites. See, you think you got something, but we got the Creator and the power of the Creator, the intelligent. You think like you got all them agent provocateurs in our groups and organizations. That's no more. No more. Them agent provocateurs and whatever, who else and whatever. It ain't like that no more. You done got too many people killed. You done killed too many great people. Icon. Agent provocateurs got King killed. Agent provocateurs got Malcolm killed. Agent provocateurs got Nat Turner killed. Agent provocateurs got Demar Vassy killed. No more of that. Wherever you found, you're going to be dealt with spiritually. You're going to be dealt with by the energy of our ancestors by divine decree. And so are those Niagara primate genome type to think they run something and playing with people's lives. But this time, this era in time, as y'all plot and plan, the Creator plot and plan, and we are formulating love and peace among ourselves. We healing ourselves. We overcoming all the idiosyncrasy, the Willie Lynch syndrome and all that. It ain't gonna work no more. And I say for that, I thank y'all for listening. I feel so good because it was a great day. Because I went down there with the mayor today and I ran 3.5 miles for the 5K. There was a lot of people down there. I like running. I like exercise. And I like playing chess. And I like doing poetry. And the most thing I like, but I love more than all that, I love you. I love my brothers and sisters. I love y'all like I love myself. You're a reflection of me. As I'm a warrior, you're a warrior. As I'm a king, you're a king, and she's a queen. And we got to hold them in high esteem. Because our women are the matriarchic order of things. They're the balance of things. All life comes through them. We got to understand that. We gotta break everything down and really get to the essence of it, the core of it. We just can't accept what our preachers say, what our imams say. Because I done seen the reality. When I was in Saudi Arabia, I seen all the nationalities, but I also seen racism. Back here, same thing among the Muslims. Same thing against the Christians. So we got to mold and shape and chisel and all that. And come into the nature of what we're supposed to be about, the divine nature. That's where we got to go. We got to heal, my brothers and sisters. We got to come together and we got to heal. We got to get out of that drug syndrome. Purify our temple, our minds, we got to gain information, man. We got to learn who we are. We got to learn everything. I mean, in all areas of life. And we got to be strong at doing it. I love y'all. And thank y'all once again. So there'll be other discussions, and I got to do some more poetry. I gotta try to go like spiritual or universal, because all my poetry be political. And I don't really do love poems and all that. It won't be love, it'll be celestial stuff. I mean, it'll be celestial poetry that we haven't heard. Because I haven't heard. I haven't seen it. I haven't astral traveled and seen what I can do. So I can write this story upon the canvas of your mind with the pencil of my thoughts. Painting a picture upon the canvas of your mind that you can see with clarity of what I'm saying. You can see that I love y'all like I love myself. The peace that I have is the peace that I want to give and share with you. You're my family, extended family upon the whole globe. Every melanated people, I don't care about those that got a slave mentality or those that got I got to find that word, a colonized mentality. Those what we got, the ones on the motherland and the ones in this land. We got to overcome that and become spiritual man and woman. Come kings and queens, come God and goddesses. We got to learn everything that African spirituality left us in Akabu land, in ancient Kemet, and the Nubian, the interior of Africa. We got to ask them people in the Catholic Church, go into that basement and give us our stuff back. Everything that y'all stole, that information, give it back to us. Y'all know what y'all doing with it. It don't work for y'all and y'all secret societies. All y'all know how to do is be blood cults and stuff like that. Have blood sacrifices, sexual orgies and all that. It's been written about y'all. We know who you are. We know you got a demonic nature, a beast-like nature. You ain't in harmony with nature or peace and none of that. But I'll say, until I see y'all next time with other topics of discussion, or we can still talk about principle of Ugo Saba. And also we can talk about black history, because black history is every day. Every day is black history. So with that I say peace, love, and power. I love y'all. Hug somebody, kiss somebody, motivate somebody, stimulate somebody. Because we as a people, we must heal. Got to put down the drugs, put down the guns, stop the killing, stop the murdering, stop the stealing from each other. We got to unify. We got to get disciplined. We got to be like army units. We don't know what's getting ready to happen. So if something do happen, we got to come together. We can't panic. Whatever we do, we got to have order. Order. We got to have order. This ain't about no riot. This is war. On all levels, spiritual, mental, physical, and all that. But you got to have order. You got to be disciplined. Like my brothers, I love them in the nation. The NOI, the FOI, man, that discipline is beautiful. We got to be the same way on the street corner. Them young warriors on the street corner, I love them to death. They got an order, but we got to get disciplined in that order. So again, kiss somebody, hug somebody, and always give love, give credence to yourself, and be spiritual. Develop your temple, purify your temple. Always put something in your mind, your conscious, and because if you put it in your conscious, your subconscious is deeper than your conscious. Be in tune with nature. Look up at the stars sometime. Look at the ants. Look at nature. Love y'all.